little more education for the empresses. I'm gonna just tell you just like this. Listen, if you have a planet, right, and I gave you an atmosphere and built over inside of you for your structure. Now, what magic did you do for another individual? Because I'm the head of your reality, so you can't lose when it comes to me after y'all. But what magic did you do for an individual that was the continuance of love, or the 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 habitation and continuance of our nourishment of each other, and knowing that me, I'm the opposite in the your literal soulmate that has nothing to do with your nourishment, but also that nourishes you. I'm gonna just say just like this. The reason for your structure, right? And I'm gonna say just like this: if somebody was destroying you and destroying your soul and causing you to even be like, you ever seen the movie The Living Dead or The Zombie, and causing a reality at a point in time because they don't no longer need for you. What magic did you do for a person that tried to waste and absorb your energy at the time, that started disregarding the reason of their existence and needed dignity, and you being their parent, they started thinking that you and them were cool buddy buddy, and then you ain't buddy buddy with them. You're supposed to literally be disciplining them or getting rid of them if they're out of order or if they're not listening. And if they're violating the reason of your sacredcy of your happiness and any form of making me unhappy as being your soulmate, that you should have got rid of instantly in the physical reality, because you'll need a disease fucking up the reason of your consciousness. So what what individual did you do magic for that wasted or tried to absorb your energy at a time? Because if I'm the real rock, the real Osiris, so I'm the beginning of existence of all physical reality. Who tried to waste your time of education in the physical reality? So who was gonna combat the anatomy of their habitation of their matter against you, or go against you in the physical reality that was gonna cause disconduct when it came to your martial arts? So things I already spoke about in a way, but I'm just edifying it right now for you. So now, what people did you do magic for, or what people did you grant magic, or that you had to take away at a time, or what people did your empress? Because if you're celestial empress, what people did your ancestral empress, or your other celestial empress, or the astrological empress, the celestial empress, or the astrological empress, or star empress, also, or make magic or grant magic to, or what children disregarded the reason of their dignity and signature and went and voided out their habitation of their social economics of their purity, parity, purity, 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 and purity of the reason of structure of the social economics. Because if they turned to another empress that wasn't their precise point of enlightenment of their reason of existence, who's their real mother, or they went to the higher empress, or they went to an opposite astrological tree and got magic from, because a person would want to confuse somebody when it came to the physical reality. So who tried to get magic from a different opposite astrological tree that voided out their sacredcy, that also gave a vulnerability to their physical of the real empress in her cellular or celestial structure within her, or celestial structure, that went and made her physical vulnerable for attack even when it came to martial arts, because that person is like bearing, it is like causing bearing or nakedness in the physical reality of, of the empress, causing her to be vulnerable at a time, because she didn't have she didn't probably want to grant somebody something which she could have did at a point, or if somebody's trying to be more than her, that was trying to over succeed the consciousness and be more than her, that wanted to be a person that must have wanted to be more glorified than her in remembrance or the reason of dignity, that tried to diminish her reason of equality, of her being the majesty of the of her order of orientation of rulership. So, what person in the astrological tree went and made the vulnerability and exposed the empress a certain type of way, took magic from somebody? Because if they're subjected to another individual's magic at a point in time, it could have been the paradigm of time of the order, or it could have been somebody literally putting hands on the astrological empress's purity of the continuance of our love, trying to mishandle it and causing detrimental or confusing situations that was literally deteriorating the reason of the habitation of the matter or the anatomy or the physical structure of physics or the higher conscience of their reality at a time that was subduing it, that was trying to demoralize it. I'm trying to, oh, how can I say this? I'm repairing and refining to strengthen the mind. So, what people did you know through the time while I was recovering? Literally, you did magic for, or you did magic for a certain type of way, and instead of them turning black or brown skin, trying to be ignorant, because space is different. When you see the black space, when you see a black space, that is the real depth, and there's nothing surpassed the depth, because now you're seeing the intricacy, fine points of the reason of order a certain type of way. So now this is why the real space color is a different color. Now, but if you see the depth, there's something that has to be handled instantly in the physical reality that a person has to literally go put their hands in. Now, what individual did you do magic for to try to do a Highlander to your situation, a certain type of way of intelligence, and try to be an intellectual? Or what individual did you go, did they go to somebody else that literally made your physical or your habitation of the reason of your rulership weak at the point for 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 your order, so another person would be taking advantage of your physical? What individual who went to somebody else to try to get a higher form of magic that literally tried to cause the confusion of the physical reality? Because if somebody was collecting and coming and get their magic at the time, who did they submit themselves to? It's just like, you ever seen YouTube, a person and they say subscribe? I don't subscribe to people. I watch certain things. I click on situations because I made existence. I'm the reason of structure. So it's just who who did that and made you vulnerable at a time for the individual to demoralize you. That was like a pimple. That was say a person created, if a person, if you had AIDS, because AIDS is a habitational um, disease of the humane condition of a different cellular structure within that deteriorates from an anatomy of the physical at a time because of the how can I say this, the the anatomy of the cellular structure of the matter is not at the refined point, and it's causing distinction of the physical, that's causing demoralizing, because it's not like it's like having a soulmate. It's not the soulmate, so it causes demoralizing a certain type of way. Only the soulmate. Now it's just like if you have a pimple and you pop your pimple, you gotta know the difference, because a person could be refining at the time and getting rid of the infection. I don't do things like that for certain people. And even certain empresses, I refused and stopped doing magic for a certain type of way a long time ago. So for that. So what empress would have did something like that, and what child would have went to somebody and that demoralized the empress, that caused the deterioration that caused it to have AIDS. It's just like what Shaylee and Liv did. They did so much sexual favors because they wasn't the soulmate of the people that they wanted sexual favors for. They wanted to manipulate their physical consciousness and subdue them to demoralize their real reality, because the Empress would have gave them purity, because there's a reason of their habitation of their structure. But if there wasn't the real star being of the regardment, they don't know how to filter the realm to know, to even see certain things. So only the star being knew certain things. So that means only certain star beings knew certain things. Now this, or in all the regard, that regards the habitation of one's natural nourishment. Now, because if the natural nourishment or the regard doesn't regard the reason of the higher consciousness of existence, or and it manipulates the physical nourishment of the physical reality and tries to demoralize the conscience to nourish the habitation a certain type of way without realizing, it's causing deterioration to the empress, or that's their higher conscience, and also the empress's higher conscience, that could cause the end of the earth, or the end of their planets or the world in a sequencing of events. So what individual at a time, literally, it's just like A. Shayla and Liv. They used to demoralize individuals for sexual favors and then make people go have sex. And you gotta remember, there were empresses in a cellular anatomy structure of a higher spiritual metaphysics, mythologically realm at a time, and that was causing the deterioration, because every time they hosted somebody for them, it wasn't the compatibility of the cellular structure. So she was causing demoralization and deterioration to the physical and causing AIDS. Because the real soulmate is the empress, and if the empress wasn't doing that for her children, because she was educating them probably physically, and they tried to surpass her to get something different at the time, the person they went to go get something different at the time is the person that they caused AIDS in their habitation into their structure. So the four chicks that was always doing that, which ate Shayla and Liv, and the Mushu empresses, because the Mushu empresses used to do forms of martial art that used to deteriorate and send people away, that would cause the end of their physical reality, and also they almost decapitated and took off their own head. So this is why you had the story of the headless horseman. So who did that at the time? So if you have anatomy, cellular matter, structure, demoralizing the physical, doing favors, it's not the precise situation. It's like, say, imagine an astrological empress, our child, having sex with a celestial empress. That's demoralizing the mythology of the realm. It's like it's causing a distinction, an irritation in the physical when it comes to the anatomy and matter, and then on top of it, it will cause a literal controversy or disruptiveness in the higher receptiveness of the anatomy, or the light of the physical structure of the matter of the individual at the time, especially if they're celestial out of frame. So now, this would literally cause the weakening of the atmosphere and deterioration of the habitation naturally. It would be real. It would cause a real high mass destruction of the anatomy naturally, because you would have the habitation of the purity demoralizing or distinguishing, or 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 how can I say, deteriorating in the elements, in the natural elements of the nature, and also in physical, mental habitation of one's consciousness and consecration of one's purity. So of one's sacredcy. So it will cause an uncomfortability, because it's just like sticking your dick in the celestial empress, and then she automatically senses uncomfortable because a person's not her soulmate. So if a person does something like that, it's already causing an uncomfortability. It's like, so and then if they try to manipulate their mental, that means that person already had a disease. Because once a person tries to make you manipulate the uncomfortability, there's difference in martial arts training, or who trains you to do martial arts. If a person's trying to numb you out, they could be the beginning of the vampiristic situation that causes vampires or lycans. Because those are people that need, vampires are people that needs to be refined of the higher quality of the physical reality, and then they turn the vitalness of their vein becomes vindictive and vicious, or and needs a form of ventilation, and then it could cause a literal outbreak if it does the wrong thing to the certain part, because it demoralizes one consciousness. So if they feed a certain type of way, it causes an outbreak to their structure, and there's no saving them after that, because that means you then spoiled the vitalness at a point that can't be repaired, and then it'll cause the death or the intoxication of the empress, and then cause the distinction of the habitation. So, what person at a time did the empress do magic for that went to somebody else like AIDS, Shayla, and Liv that used to cause AIDS? You know, they cause AIDS. Those chicks literally cause AIDS. Rags like to bring the shit. This is why I used to warn people, like, them niggas are by themselves. They're not supposed to be doing it. And when they listen to me, I just let them do what they were doing, because if they were deteriorating themselves, that was good for them. Because I told them, that was another reason to run around and say, there go a person that has the cooties that didn't listen, a person that was spoiling love at a point, and then Mushu, and then they went towards Mushu, and then when they did that, that's what caused the end of era. Because the simpleton individuals that wanted to know more than what they were supposed to know, that caused their own deterioration to the physical. So, and the men were individuals that knew high forms of science that misguided individuals, and doing that misguiding is causing deterioration, and then it was on a high level, so it would be literally easy for you to realize why they would cause AIDS to the anatomy, and cause canceristic situations in the physical that got people sick. So, who what individuals was following other, I'm putting on sneakers right now. I have to put in some some paper in there, because it wasn't the house at 4023 Avenue K, but because I have to wear sneakers to go where I'm going, I'm just gonna wear my sneakers, because in the film away I have to ventilate the sneakers also, and then you notice, you know, these are the uncomfortabilities that's another person's causing because of my finances. Because of my finances, when a person could have been handling things on their own, I'm not gonna go looking for individuals. That's why I did a certain thing a certain type of way. Because when a person does something, their own distinction and what they cause, they're the ones to be blamed for it. Because I was already responsible. Because it's just like me making life and having to take care of life. I shouldn't have to come ask you for what's supposed to be mine to it. So, if a person thinks I'm gonna come ask or try to approach something that's supposed to be mine already, then you sadly stupid, because you were supposed to know your placement already. So it's just like money. Value's supposed to know where it's supposed to be. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to speak to you or try to approach you unless I want to. And if I don't want to, then fuck you. I don't care what happens. That's how real it is for me. Because I'm the real magi, the real majesty. So nobody has the right, or nobody has the how can I say this, to ever demoralize me of the physical and try to cheat me out of the level of acknowledgement, or just because their manipulation of other people in their physical reality and how they wanted to do other things they wanted to do people. I don't got time for little kid games when it comes to sacredcy and other people trying to demoralize or endanger other people that's innocent, that might not know the reason. It's just like when the people used to be like, oh, he's gonna do this at this time. Oh man, we're gonna show him this lesson. We're gonna make him learn a lesson like this. I said, what you mean make him learn a lesson? I said, be like, yo, listen, just show him what's going on a certain type of way. You're gonna make him know, because they soaked him about the certain things before, and then he did this, so this time. And then I used to look at people like, what? Man, I just look at people like they were stupid after that when they said that to me, because I'm like, yo, who are you really doing that to? You caught. They didn't. It's like they didn't realize I was doing martial arts, and I used to be like, yo, who are you really doing that to? You causing confusion, and on top of it, you trying to test a master that's gonna lead up to a conflict between me and another person a certain type of way. I used to just leave. Like I used to just look at my wife like, your depression. You better get rid of your depression. You know, because I used to look at her like, yo, your stupidity that's running around with certain type of knowledge is irritating you. Be very careful. I used to tell her that, because I don't know how she was feeling in the metaphysical realm. Well, I do know, but I'm already conquering the physical. So she is like she had the lap of luxury, and it was like a criminal to my eyesight. Like I used to look at it like a literal criminal. Like I put you somewhere you real comfortable. You don't even have to worry about the traumatic experience of the physical reality for my safety, because the reason of the continuance of my love, I just didn't want you to be hurt. And then you're supposed to every day wake up and make sure I never get hurt, and emotionally, physically every day. And then your stupidity, because of your stupid shit, you're feeling emotional for stupid other outside situations. It's a continuous, it's lower form. Well, probably other reasons, probably she had certain urges a certain type of way, and when she needed fulfillment, there was other people complicating her situation that was gonna cause her to be vindictive. So, I used to be like, I don't wanna destroy what we had, but I don't know what spoiled the intentions if they was going under other influence. How are you thinking and feeling before you went in the realm of certain type of thing? So be careful of your physics at it. Because I used to tell my wife preparation was everything, and I'm an individual that educated the ninja guys. Because when my wife thought it was something simple going on with me, I showed it was even more than what she thought at the time and how serious it was. So another person trying to become your fucking pussy coach because he wants to manipulate you a little further, you better tell him keep that mentality away from me. Don't let me hear stupid. Let me hear any forms of sequencing of any verbal stupidity or even physical stupidity when it comes to me in the physical, because, bruh, don't make me even look at you or think about you the wrong. So I want to ask my wife, who did she do magic for that went somewhere else and did magic to somebody else that was causing at a time sequence, because there's an order in empresses. So at a time sequence in a reality, even when she was around, who caused the explosion? It's just like exposing something at a time. I used to have to call my other wife to speak to her about what my other wife was doing, because I'm like, you remember what we taught her, or remember what I told you to teach her? And then on top of it, do you realize what I'm going to show at this time? So at this time, you make sure you're regarding her, you're looking over her situation. She do something, you don't get loud, you don't show her no signs of nothing. You handle it a certain type of way, and make sure you're blameless at the time a certain way. I should tell my wife. It's just like going to a cash register, working the register. If you did wrong, you're not supposed to do. My empress knows I'm innocent, and then this time other you end up in the situation. And then I look at the person, depending on who they're doing that for. Because I'm already the conscience above the empress. I know before another person. So another stupid nigga probably thought it was sexual because that's my fucking soulmate, my wife, you asshole. I'm the reason why she's even in the metaphysical with me. I put her there. I'm speaking about me, Raffle and JR. what children, listen, it's just like learning order and the reason of anatomy, and then a person being inside of you causing discrepancy on a high level and doesn't know the intricacies of the reason of existence, and then you have to literally, it's just like popping a pimple. Then you have to literally go handle a situation because of another individual, and on top of it, then me repairing and showing my empress what she needs to go handle, or or literally seeing to tell her and instruct her what she needs to go do for herself. Then another person is wondering what is going on, or type, and then a person, I look at her and said, what's causing your irritation at the time and your discomfortability and your ignorance of your consciousness that you don't even have time to think or speak because you're so upset. So if your anger is so on a high level, mad at an individual, it's like I used to tell Athena, don't mangle the other individual that caused the situation before it goes any further. So this way, it wouldn't it wouldn't interfere the physical reality a certain way. Another person says, why do they feel that? Because of the time, because another person said something ignorant, so I have to make sure in the level of physics that another person could go, my wife could go handle it a certain type of way. I don't punish myself at all. I'm not even supposed to do that because my wife already natural order to even the children that she may even thought was perfect, that they have to go do certain things to themselves because of their recondition, and on top of it, of them trying to keep an order, and I've always just been hiding them. So she has to go secondary. It's like for her safety, she can't even hurt herself when it comes to me. If she wants to feel purity and happiness, she can't even hurt her physical when it comes to it. You know, she has to make sure I'm okay for her to be okay physically. So hey, good for you. It's just like if I'm the one that heals you, even when it comes to martial arts, how you gonna hurt the anatomy or the matter of the individual that naturally heals you? How you gonna heal yourself if you're already hurt? That means another person trying to manipulate the physics and probably another empress that knows something, and she can't even do that to me because she got to think about herself at the time. And then on top of it, you better hope there's not even a vindictive empress that's inside of me a certain type of way. Then you better hope I got rid of her energy before she causes devastation of other planets. And also listen. So it's just like your stupid horns that was feeling horny. That kick. Yo, listen, let me tell you something about your period. What caused the distinction to your period? What caused a feminine being to have a period? What wound did you have that you had to cleanse? Especially a feminine. You remember your reflections of your intake reflection of the empress. So what caused your wounds in the physical reality or your stressful conditions that have you literally literally have a form of habitation of you bleeding? Because a person said the earth been hurt so much and drilled by other individuals at a time that you have to bleed out like they were shooting you or killing you or stabbing you. So who who caused that in your physical reality? What men are you around that have bigger plans than the reason of the natural order of the orientation and trying to be more than me and literally in the physical reality? That's the murderer that caused the period. And it's just like thank yourself for having a period because if you had speaking to my empress, I'm just gonna say like this: habitation is real, and one has to filter a certain situation, but don't filter a situation that already did wrong. They just want to know the reason of the habitation, so it can continue doing wrong and not care, and then causing the numbness or the vindictive, vampiristic situations or liking situations of your physical that spoils your senses, and then you be really fucked up when it comes to habitation. It's just like Donto. Donto, they tried to spoil Donto so much that Donto's walking around like some dry pussy numb bitch, a certain type of way that can't even have a form of comfortability of love because there's ignorance and negligence and irritation of other individuals. It's just like giving away magic. It's like if you're giving away magic, if you ever seen the movie Braveheart, what's gonna cause the separation and kind of kill them? Don't come into physical reality. It's just natural physics that was gonna lead up to her death. Because Who did she do things for that caused a separation? And then if she had to go collect it, she didn't collect it. Another person's abusing her energy and then weakening her. And then she needs a force a certain type of way and then it refining the physical. Who caused the death? So the individuals that got her magic, or other people she did favors for, or other people that raped her anatomy in other ways, or took advantage of the feminine chicks on her planet, or her sacredcy when it came to value. Now, don't all fuck up when it comes to value. She don't even gotta go to sleep no more. She shouldn't even think about sleep. On top of it, she shouldn't even speak about it because any hint or speech pattern she gives anything about acknowledgement of sleep a certain type of way, she already be finished because she knows what I'm speaking. I won't have to tell you another higher empress that will just come and just finish her in her own comfortability, and then she'll, she'll just have to. It's just like waking up in the same matrix in a loop state, in a loop reality at a time, wondering when you're gonna correct the situation. And on top of it, I already seen it happen in a certain type of way, and the people that did it were Sam and Dean, and they were doing it for pussy before. So you could imagine on Supernatural. Now you could imagine the rest of the situations and certain things that have been going on certainly. So don't fall victim of stupidity to other stupidity of people that wanted to do the wrong thing. And you know something? I'm about to go outside. I'm not gonna speak about this. I'm gonna finish getting ready and then I'll make my next video. And on top of it, it's been 31 minutes and 53 seconds. 55 now.